problem isn't in my pants. Mex-Men.
What are you doing after this?
Wine tasting.
Wine tasting?
Wine tasting.
Yeah.
White folk stuff.
Some extremely white folks shit.
Yeah, my first name is Chad.
Yeah, Chad Gutierrez, right?
I was gonna say Munoz, but yeah.
Chad Munoz.
Every time I see
Sean
every
Gutierrez.
time I see anybody online now whose name is like Stan Quinceanera or something, I'm like, is this Justin?
Yeah, right. Super white first name.
Stan 15th birthday party.
Yeah, right.
For a woman. So welcome to this issue of Mex-Men. I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be going over all new X-Men issues 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Correct.
Like just a straight arc this time.
Yep. It's going to get a little weird for the next few months. Probably how we're uploading. Because it's going to be like all new X-Men and then Uncanny. And there's going to be going back and forth because we're covering everything through the beginning of all new X-Men to Secret Wars.
Yeah, but they tie in a whole lot, so it's gonna be one linear story at least.
Yeah, it's happening all at the same time, kind of, so it's not too crazy.
We'll just be showing different perspectives.
Yeah, it will be
between the teams.
A linear story through. Just don't be surprised when you see like all new X-Men Part 1, Uncanny Part 1, all new X-Men Part 2. And
Yeah. We left out, too, Amazing X-Men, because Kurt comes back during this period.
yeah, and also you guys really did not want to cover Uncanny X-Men.
What are you talking
What are you talking about?
Or not Uncanny Avengers.
I'm excited for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You didn't want to either?
No.
I already knew you didn't want to, and when Justin was like, fuck no, I was like, alright, we're not covering it.
Yeah.
I was excited to see what Havoc was doing, but...
Because I actually picked up all those single issues, like, looking forward to it, and, no.
Oh, so you've already read it?
Yeah, I
and
read
it's
it.
just not good. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Before we get started in anything though, I just want to do a quick shout out and say thank you to Pixar Nerd Studios for making the art that they did for us. So
That was dope.
yeah, we'll post it again when this episode's posted up. But it's pretty cool. It's Magneto chasing after Namor, Gold Balls, and Cyclops.
I feel challenged.
Mentally.
No.
But yeah, go check out his YouTube channel.
Artistically.
Go check out his YouTube channel at Pixar Nerd Studio. He does a lot of cool, like, instructional drawing videos.
Yeah. Also, though, should have been Xavier instead of Magneto. And now, because you say chasing too, so I'm thinking of Xavier, like, with the wheelchair, like, rolling it really fast.
But it would have been Jean, though.
It would have been, it would have been 3 Genes. Like, young Gene, current Gene, and then just some other Gene.
Dead Jean.
Yeah, dead Gene. Just a skeleton.
It's the one he catches.
Even in death, she can't escape.
So, all new X-Men.
Yep.
Number 1.
Some dope covers here.
Numero uno.
There was, although they did it weird. You know how they do the covers that are meant to be one big, like, banner poster type thing? Well, they put the first 2 parts on the same issue. Because it starts with Scott's X-Men team, and then the young X-Men team, and then the next one is Wolverine's X-Men team. Like, those are the 3 covers, except cover 1 is both Scott's and the young one, and then issue 2 is the cover for Wolverine's. So, like, it's just weird. Like, you would expect issue 1, 2, and 3.
What, was it, wraparound, the first one?
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming at a point, too, in Marvel where all their covers were kind of blandish because they all that red bar at the bottom, and it kind of made all their covers look the same.
Oh, the Join the Revolution bar?
Yeah, all the Marvel Now bars and shit.
Yeah.
It kind of made all their covers during that period look the same.
Well, that's just a graphic design issue to show, like, solidarity of the universe. Because I think, wasn't DC doing the New 52 during that exact time?
No, DC was doing the New 52 way earlier. They were doing a different event. I can't remember what. Rebirth is what they were doing.
Rebirth was a bit later. I think Rebirth was 2015. New 52... New 52 started just before this, but it was still pretty close. Marvel just reset their universe a little bit, like, a little after. Because there was a big, like, sort of controversy, or, like, jokes were being made about how Phoenix Cyclops, when they did Nightwing, he just looked like a ripoff of Phoenix Cyclops because they gave him the red and black, and he has the bird thing.
So what? Nightwing was after Phoenix Cyclops?
Yeah.
Looking into, I looked it up. It was about 2 years into New 52.
Well, we don't have time for your facts over here, Tony.
It's coming from you? You read everything while we're doing the podcast?
Don't
You're practically scripted over there.
Don't display my secrets.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's my point, is that the New 52 was going on still, and they did this. I think Rebirth still happens during, like... Because they go from Marvel Now to Marvel Now. Like, they, like, re-upped the Marvel Now for
now
some reason. Yeah.
But, actually, before we go full into this... There was news of that Marvel has right now.
Oh.
With
like now?
Yeah. Well, did you see that Scarlet Witch picture I sent you guys? Because there's a whole video that Marvel put out with Scarlet Witch where she's summarizing the relationship between her of like Scarlet Witch and robot guy. I can't remember his name
Vision?
right now. Vision.
Robot
Thank
guy.
you.
Robot guy.
My brain is not working right now. I can't do anything about it. But she goes over their whole storyline of like how they fall in love and how she changed the universe to make sure that they had babies.
She was introduced to a symbiont machine, and then Vision was like, "Oh, I can do that too." And
you can't blame
like,
the girl.
No, you really can't.
Who could compete with Vision?
It's like so much better than my brother.
Gross. I know. Yeah. So she's going over the whole story of like they fell in love. She changed the universe so that they could have babies, and then it turns out that they were pieces of Mephisto, and then she...
Where the fuck did Mephisto come into all this?
The shards
he
of
comes
Mephisto,
into whatever he wants.
yeah, her two kids are created from shards of Mephisto. But then she actually
That's what he calls his semen? Shards? Ouch.
Solid.
But she's talking about the No More Mutants, and that's kind of where she ended it, because it was setting up WandaVision. The whole thing that they were going over.
Wait, okay, are we talking about MCU stuff, or are we talking about...
We're talking about MCU stuff.
And she's talking about No More Mutants?
Yes, that's what I've been trying to explain to you guys.
Ooh, so are they going to be like, mutants were always a thing, but Wanda fucking undid it before we could introduce them?
I don't know if she
That'd
undid
be so
it,
cool.
but, I mean, she's also supposed to be in Doctor Strange, which is all about warping the multiverse.
Dude, I'm so excited right now.
Their villain is Nightmare in that movie. WandaVision is supposed to lead into Doctor Strange being in the multiverse. So it sounds like with Emily Olsen, if that's her name, right? Elizabeth Olsen, yes. There's so many of them. But with her going over all of that whole storyline between them and making sure to include the No More Mutants, like it sounds like
they're going to backdoor the way into mutants that way.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they were a thing, but she erased them, and so you didn't get to know they were a thing.
Either that or my pervasive theory of her going, no, more mutants. that will jumpstart the mutants.
Well, that's how Mephisto works.
Yeah.
He's always trying to trick you. However, you have to watch how you word shit carefully. He was like, no, I heard a comma.
Yeah.
Unless you're Magma. Then he just wants to have a nice date.
Yeah, of course.
I thought that was with
and
Magic.
maybe bang afterwards. No, Magma.
Magma.
Oh,
because she's so hot.
I gotta go re-listen to that.
He kept saying that actually. That
episode 6 of Mex-Men.
Was that episode 6?
Yeah.
Damn.
Shit, it was only 6?
I mean, technically for us, it was episode 36, but we lost a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, it just felt like we were doing this so much longer before then.
But yeah, that's all I pretty much had to say about Marvel.
Yeah, I didn't hear about
going
that.
through that. So that's pretty cool that at least something. I mean, a show that's getting filmed right now is supposed to have ties to mutants. And also, Marvel already confirmed that Deadpool is in the MCU, so that's already a mutant in the MCU.
And they're on the fence about New Mutants, or they went back.
They're playing coy with it. I think
I've never heard anything legitimate.
if it's amazing, they'll probably be like, "Yeah, it's in the MCU."
Okay,
but it's kind of weird to have that be the first mutants.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess and Deadpool.
Yeah, because if they do that, I mean, Deadpool, you can do anything with pretty much just have him comment.
Well, it's the whole baby in the bathwater thing. They know to like hold on to the baby and then drain the rest of the bathwater that is Hugh Jackman's cast in all his movies.
Yeah, but I mean, Kevin Feige has also said that he wants to get Patrick Stewart back. So I don't...
That's fair.
I mean, he's perfect as Professor Xavier, except he's not a pedophile. It's just he's too old now.
But he can work on it.
Too old.
Work on. I hope he doesn't.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, they need to find somebody new. I saw that fan cast that used that guy from Shazam to play the villain.
Oh,
I could see that. But, like,
He
because
was Dr.
Xavier
Who
is
is he?
British, right? Like, just in the U.S. Like, it's a weird, like, he's English, but here.
I think he's just proper.
Oh, but, okay.
They always give him an English accent, though.
Yeah.
Stuck up.
He's like Emma, just pretending.
Yeah, they're both Madonna.
Dr. Savannah, that's who it is.
Just picturing Xavier singing like a virgin.
Well, I mean, because his dick don't work. So.
But I thought he could pop a boner, cherry, and a wheelie at the same time.
Oh, that's what he's saying. He's overcompensating.
Yeah. It's all talk.
Yeah.
Speaking of all talk, Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, pain in the ass.
Never shuts
That guy.
This is
I
the
know.
downfall of Beast, right here.
This is the downfall of Beast?
This is what starts me disliking Beast, personally. Before this, I liked Beast.
You know what? I concur. It's just, it happened so long ago, so I have such a history
so
of
deep now.
dislike. Yeah, I have such a history of disliking him. I realized I didn't actually dislike him when he left Utopia and blamed Scott. I just thought, okay, bitch move since you like Wolverine so much. And Wolverine is the one who actually was killing and then continued to kill after the fact. And then you joined his team while he's still being X-Force. And that leads to your other friend Warren getting fucked up in the head. And you're cool with him still, but like everything's still Scott's fault. But later, that actually makes a bit of sense. And I think Bendis writes it that like Beast, Hank had always been in love with Jean also.
Yeah, I mean, they lay seeds for that in the first issue of X-Men.
Yeah.
Because Beast is also talking about how beautiful Jean is. And, I mean, the only one who's not is Bobby, but he's got his reasons.
He's yeah.
He's good.
Yeah, he's just a little kid. He doesn't know what...
He's 13.
Yeah.
It's funny they kept saying 12.
But I mean, at that point, they all were, right? I mean, again, except for Bobby. So
Bobby was
it didn't.
13.
It didn't mean like a whole lot. Like I mean,
Yeah.
Warren was.
I mean, it did with Xavier.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, before other reasons. Like I never really read anything that showed like that his feelings were valid and real until like with this all new stuff later on, and it shows that he had that longing.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
It's because she was the
Well-
only girl there. Who else are they going to have a crush on?
Yeah, that's a good
The
point.
one girl at the school.
I mean,
Bobby's over here like, oh yeah, it's a smorgasbord.
this is exactly what I wanted. Go read and we'll probably recover it at some point because we covered it before and the episode was lost. But
Oh yeah, we'll read it again.
yeah, in the first issue of X-Men, Bobby is really not happy that Jean's there.
I mean, think about it too. Like his
Oh, yeah.
his costume is literally nothing but fancy boots. So Beast is freaking out because he's realizing his mutation is progressing again because he's gone through several iterations now. The last one was his more cat form, but this time he doesn't feel like his body's gonna handle it. So he's panicked that he's gonna die now. And is like what do I have to show for my life and like there's too much going on now for me to just go like so he's in a moment of internal crisis.
He's crawling on his lab floor, like really not. He's drooling from his mouth.
Yeah.
But
He's not having a good time.
incidentally, as much of a bitch as they made him during this time period, he looks the coolest he ever has.
I know, and he actually turns into just like a Sasquatch looking motherfucker, and it's like he looked cooler before this.
Yeah, like right now he's like this dope ass time warrior from the apocalypse era. Like he's got like the vest with like it looks like it should have pouches, but you don't really see him, and then like a bunch of time devices on him. Like he looks like a time warrior.
That's his cooler look, you're saying? Before he morphed
when
again?
when he goes back and is getting the original X-Men, that's when
He looks pretty
the
cool.
coolest.
Although he's threatening of we're gonna get into it.
He's
but-
got that emo hair that's like flying.
See, I actually
up
liked his
face.
new look.
Really?
Yeah, when he finally goes through this mutation.
Well, spoilers.
Oh yeah, he's gonna.
Although
die.
I did just say that too.
We've talked about a bunch of stuff that's not even happening right now.
Yeah, so he's freaking out because he's dying. And then we're introduced to Ava Bell, who is an Australian gal, like getting to meet her crush. Like we're kind of getting forced into meeting her crush, and then she's like, "Oh, awesome!
The guy's biting
I'm just
his lip,
hanging
too.
around
He's
too."
like,
Yeah. Well, he kind of was a fuckboy before fuckboys was a term, I think.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really being thrown around during this time. Was it 2012?
Looks like a hipster.
Yeah, this is right before people started really caring about women and like being a fuckboy. Like people started getting upset about.
Oh, okay.
Like as they should be.
Yeah.
Because leave him alone.
Yeah.
But
So
he's wearing a fedora. He's wearing a goddamn fedora.
he is.
If you're listening to this and you're wearing a fedora, take the hat off, man.
Yeah.
You can wear it, but it looks too small for his head too, which is why it's funny.
All fedoras are too small for everybody's head. They don't make any. They're all ill-fitting.
So they're like kind of flirting with each other, and then Ava's brother shows up shirtless because that's what you do in Australia.
Roided the fuck out.
Yeah, and he's all like, "Get away from my sister," and they're all like, "Hey, chill, bro," and he's like, "I'm not your bro, guy," and he punches him in the face, and then all his friends are like, "Hey, how are you just gonna punch him?" Like, yeah, it's a real smart move. Like, all his friends are here, and they start beating the shit out of her brother.
Which I liked.
Yeah, and so Ava freaks out because, of course, she wants none of this to be happening, and freezes time,
Yep.
all of time, and then she's like,
Well, not
"Wait,
all of it.
well, around them, but freezes all the time
She
around
freezes
them."
a little bit of time.
Well, no, because
She freezes one time a lot.
yeah, for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because she's like, "Wait, why is it no one moving? What's wrong with everyone?" And then Cyclops, Magic, and Eric show up. Or
You guys on first name
Yeah,
basis.
right. It sounded weird.
I did that weird, and also it's not Magic, it's Emma.
Yeah, I mean,
Magneto.
Magic opens up the portal for him. But
Dude, the names come to me in the most random order. I almost always say or write Scott when I'm talking about Cyclops, and almost always Magneto, and I just did it in reverse this time. So that's it felt weird to me.
Cyclops and Eric.
It felt weird to me. Because I feel like I know
You start
Scott
call-
Summers on a first name basis. Magneto, we're not so tight.
Yeah,
He doesn't use his
Maximus.
first name a lot. either.
Yeah.
He's often called Magneto, not Eric.
Mr. Lancher.
Yeah, really the only person who calls him Eric is Xavier.
Yeah. Scott was in this too, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's his leader right now.
But that felt weird too when Scott was calling him Eric. I'm like, this is strange.
Yeah.
He's his dad. he's already Magneto's already said he was his dad.
So
he's allowed to call him by his first name.
So they go in and they're like, "Hey, Ava, nice to meet you. You're a mutant, and the authorities are outside of this time bubble you made, and they're ready to take you. And we don't want to let that happen." And she's like, "What do you mean? I didn't do this." And like, "Oh, yeah, you did." For a whole long time.
Because she, you don't know at this point, but she's not just stopping time around her. She's stopping time including her in that space. So they had to, like, to her, she seems like she had just stopped time for maybe a couple seconds. But they've been there for hours.
I took it as she froze herself too at first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She froze herself too, and then the X-Men unfroze her.
Well, I didn't know that it was like the X-Men unfroze her. I just thought maybe she slipped out of it.
I thought she slipped out of it.
He says something about
I thought he was talking about how they were able to get into the bubble.
Without being frozen.
Because I think Emma's just like, "We have our ways."
Yeah,
or
but
something.
obviously, if they have ways of being frozen and they arrive exactly like seconds after she unfreezes, like the two would be related.
Yeah. Fair enough. I can see that.
Yeah.
So they're explaining that authorities are outside the time bubble, and the only reason they haven't taken her is because they can't get into the bubble yet. So they're going to help her release it, and then they're going to get her out of there. And so when they do that, as soon as they do that, bam, like a SWAT team just runs in. And I don't know how they know it's her exactly, but they do. They're just like, "You, there, mutant." And like, how do you even know it was her? Like, it could have been any of the obvious mutants.
Well, because she yelled, "I didn't mean it."
Oh.
So they're like, "You did this?"
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
yeah.
and also they're outside witnessing what's happening in the frozen time area.
Yeah,
they
I
see
guess
her moving when
yeah.
nobody else is.
Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, that's not shown, but yeah. So they port her away, but there's a battle that ensues.
Which is like they could have just took her, but instead they battle.
Yeah, well, because that looks cooler in a panel.
Yeah. Well, I'm also wondering if there's some way that her powers work to where like she has to be there to unfreeze the area. Like if she freezes it and leaves, like it's stuck.
Yeah, but it's like done. We go through all these panels of like the SWAT running up or the police.
Yeah.
They could have just poured it out with magic, but instead, Magneto has to start wrecking shit.
Yeah, I think they
I
wanted
think
to prove a point there.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Part of everything Scott's doing seems just a little bit hypocritical because there's fighting involved, and they're so skilled that they should be able to do most things without that fighting.
Well, and everything that he's doing after AVX is to prove a point. Like, we're starting a revolution. Like, he's not just going in and rescuing young mutants. He's making them know that he's going to be there for every young mutant that needs help.
Yeah, that you push us, we push back.
Yeah, so if they just disappear with her, they're like, oh, what happened with her? But if they're there fighting off the army that's coming after her, and they rescue her, they're proving a point.
This is finally the point in Scott's progression where he is starting to be more like Magneto. Like, they kept trying to label him that way before that was actually happening, but now he's actually taking the Malcolm X approach rather than the Martin Luther King approach that gets assigned to the X-Men so often.
Yeah, Magneto fucked up because he called his team evil.
Yeah, that's a problem,
So,
but also
he leaned into it.
they're always reacting to anyway. Like, he's still not what Magneto was going and throwing the first punch. They're still technically counter punching. So there's
I don't think he's acting like Magneto yet. He's not doing anything. Magneto's just killing people.
Well,
Scott's not doing that.
no, I mean in terms of attacking back, attacking officials and police officers and stuff like that.
Well, because they were
to save
attacking
mutants.
the mutant. He just
Well, and
saved them.
as far as having the point of mutants over humans, yes, he's leaning more towards Magneto.
Yeah,
ideology,
I'm
yeah.
not saying he is Magneto. I'm saying he's starting to go down that side of the scale.
What he's doing that Magneto back in the day wouldn't have done is if he can just talk to a mutant and not have it be controversial.
He'll do that, yeah.
He's just going like he.
Yeah, he's still a
later
hero.
he does that with a guy. Just talks to him quietly while in disguise, so people don't know. He doesn't really have a choice with this girl.
Yeah. Well, I had to
No.
bring it up because they do act like Scott's out here killing humans.
That's what I was going to get into next. So, and I think that's why it was important to show that there was a fight so that it's not completely off base for Wolverine's team of X-Men, which I think we should clear. Like, so they're the X-Men, but there technically are 3 teams of X-Men in this story. There's Scott's X-Men, there's Wolverine's X-Men, and then there's the Young X-Men.
Yeah, and I'm sure at some point, Amazing and Uncanny Avengers will also cross over into these.
Yeah, so I think instead of just saying X-Men, I'm going to say Scott's group, Wolverine's group, and the Young group. Because otherwise, it'd be like, and then the X-Men did this, and then the X-Men did that, and it's like, wait, what are they doing
maybe
now?
call the Young group like First Class.
Oh,
Yeah,
5.
first class. So, Wolverine's group are watching this on the news, as they do, and they're like, oh, we can't believe Scott. Revolution?
Claremont wrote this panel.
This
In
one
that
panel.
fight, though, in the fight where they were stopping those guys, it looked like mostly just guns getting destroyed. They weren't like destroying those humans or
No.
anything, wrecking the shit out of them. They were like destroying the guns that they were pointing at them. So
Yeah, because even still, they're still heroes. They're not like
they weren't
killing
just
people.
needlessly beating up
But
humans.
they are showing their power now.
Yeah, they're not.
It's
yeah.
displays
They could've
of their strength.
Could've
Yeah.
just left. So
Also, back in the mansion, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Kitty's wearing the same clothes that Jackie O wore when Kennedy was assassinated.
I did not notice that.
It's like the same thing.
Because I don't often think back to what Jackie O was wearing when Kennedy was
I
assassinated.
think about it all the time.
Okay.
well, we found your fetish.
Jackie, have you seen Jackie O?
I've
She's
seen
like
He gets a boner so fast.
she's like the
I'm sure.
second hottest first lady ever, right after Nancy Reagan.
That's saying something.
You know what? It might sound like a cliche or like I'm pandering. I don't know. But Michelle Obama.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Wolverine's group, they're watching the news, and they're like, we can't believe this is happening. And, Bobby's talking about how I can't believe Scott's doing this, a revolution. Like, what is he even talking about? And they're basically like, he's going to ruin everything we've worked so hard to build. And every time he attacks a human, like, we look worse. And
He's not even really
Attacking.
I can't
humans.
even call him Iceman in this book. He's more like Captain Foresight. Because every time they're like, Anytime he sees Scott doing anything, he's like, if only Scott's younger self could see him now. He says it like 3 times.
Pretty much.
And at the 3rd time, Beast is like,
pretty much. So then we're introduced to another new mutant, Christopher Muse.
Yeah, Triage.
But
right?
Triage is a way better name.
Oh, yeah. Where they at though, Devin? Where they at?
yep. Where they at? Where they at?
No, I don't remember where he is.
They're in
but
Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor, Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to that. That's crazy. So, but he's being held by a detective, presumably because she's not in a uniform, so not just a regular police officer. So this actually makes it worse because she should be smarter. And she's like,
Or maybe she's just a regular cop who didn't change, so she's extra dumb.
It's casual Friday.
so he's like, I don't know why I'm in here. And she's like, you're in here. Like, why'd you run? You're in here because you ran from us. Why'd you run from us? They're like, because you were chasing me.
With guns, saying, I will shoot you!
And she's like, why'd you do the bad thing you did? You mean save my friend? I don't know. Like, she fell and she was hurt.
Resurrected somebody, and they're like trying to hang him for it.
Well, he doesn't even know if he resurrected them. She was like, she was dead. And she's like, I don't know that she was dead. She was just hurt. And then I did something and she was unhurt. And she's like, yeah, you monster. You saved a person. How dare you? You healed them.
Also, this is the only, Michigan area I've really seen in comics that wasn't written by Saladin Ahmad.
Wait till I start selling stuff. Everything's in Pontiac.
You should talk to Saladin Ahmad because he's the one writer who works for Marvel who, anytime they give him a chance to set something in Michigan, he's like, fuck
Always.
it. Yeah, he's got a new character in Miss Marvel that's from Ann Arbor, and then one of his stories just took place in Detroit.
Sweet.
You're gonna pull a Stephen King and everything's in Maine.
Well,
Sort of.
Saladin Ahmad is from Detroit.
Is it? Nice. I like her. She's like, you look like a mutant.
She's like, you look like a mutant hiding who you are. And it's like, what is that? What does any of this mean?
Because he looks like a normal human.
Yeah.
He looks like Urkel.
He's like, how did you do that? And it's like, I don't even know how I did it. Like, it just happened. Like, it, and
it's not even like yelling like, you I swear you're a mutant. He's like, you a mutant? No, you look like a mutant. You know what we do to mutants around these parts.
which, that's not an Ann Arbor accent, but yeah.
Could
Yeah.
be.
We all know, though, in Michigan that the further you go up north, the more you are down south.
Yeah, but
So-
Ann Arbor's not that.
No,
Ann
but
Arbor's.
you can come down to Ann Arbor from the north pretty fast.
All right, that's very fair. Fair enough. Dude, did I ever tell you about what I saw in the bathroom that one time when we went to go camping with him at Amir's campground thing, his grandfather's?
Some ointment will take care of that.
No. We went to the bathroom. It was like actually really clean in there, except there was one little bit of graffiti in front of the the top of the urinal stall, and it was in pencil, which also was like you could totally clean pencil on a thing, and all it said was KKK. Okay. It's like, holy, what the fuck? Where the fuck are we?
They're not even dedicated, at least.
It sounds like there was a question mark after that.
Okay.
I was just like, this is really bizarre. It's also really bizarre that like a Chaldean guy just has like a big like patch of land in northern Michigan.
Did you say Chaldean?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Chaldean. Yeah, Chaldean. All right, so the X-Men show up and they save him from being interrogated by a really stupid person. And now this part actually does bug me because it turns into another like news clip on TV. Like they show like a TV shot in the panel.
They've
And
been watching it on their phone.
and Scott, he talks about that the revolution's happening, that they won't stand for any mutant being persecuted. But then he hits him with this like, "What's up, bro?" Like this X with his arms, but he does it in a way that's like such a like
Sideways kind of.
yeah.
Do you want to read that little
Very
Cyclops
Instagram-y?
monologue there?
Yeah. If you are a mutant, you are part of an elite species that deserves every freedom. Don't worry, my brother and sister of the atom. We are the X-Men, and we stand together. And then he throws up the X. But it is like not just a straight X. He's doing it all sideways. Like he's...
Yeah.
He's doing
Like he's striking a
lean
pose.
into it.
Yeah.
Strike a pose.
Yeah.
This is all Madonna references.
Also, that little speech is a bit Magneto-ish.
Yeah, the speech, definitely.
Yeah. like calling them like we are an elite class of, which I mean is later adopted for Hickman because they're basically just like he kind of just takes everything Cyclops did and rehashed it in a better light.
Magneto was so fucking happy.
Yeah,
he was just feeling that so much. He's like, yes.
That's why he had to lose those years, so he could just redo them.
So the Wolverine's X-Men are because they were also like, "Where's Beast?" By the way, because they don't know he's dying, and they get Beast, and Beast is not feeling himself, obviously, because he's dying, and they're still debating on what they're gonna do about Scott, and like, or do we fight? Do we take him out? Storm's like, we can't do that. We can't have some sort of mutant civil war. It's going to end with half of us dead.
Beast is with them at that point.
Right. No, I just mean in general.
Yeah. But he's like sick and he's like...
yeah.
And he's like...
I forgot to mention it, like, because the first time they show them, that's exactly what they're asking. Hey, where's Beast? And then he's with them.
And this is the first... this is the first mention that we get of Iceman trying to foreshadow. So he's like... the Scott we grew up with, he would hate this. He would slap the hot crap out of Scott, and he wouldn't stop slapping him.
He said holy crap, but I really liked hot crap a lot.
My phone's broken, so it looks like hot crap.
When you said that, I was like, I don't remember that. That's awesome.
It's like hot crap.
But they're talking about, like, what are they going to do, and what's Scott's problem? Like, what's his deal? He's ruining everything, and what is he's trying, like... I think it's Kitty is like, does he want us to take him out? And Iceman's just like, no, he wants us to join him. That's what he wants. He wants everyone together, but like under him and like the way things were, but now adversarial to humans.
But he actually doesn't want that, though.
No, he doesn't. This is all just conjecture on their part. Because they don't actually talk to him.
Wolverine would be able to tell him, no. But of course, Wolverine would never do that.
Yeah, he's drunk right now. He's not like in any of these panels. He's off getting wasted.
Well, he's teaching kids about ninjas.
He's a couple months away from dying.
Yeah. And Beast is like, you know what, Bobby? That's a good idea. You're a smart fella.
Damn it, Bobby.
And then we see that Beast in the past is about to leave the X-Men because he's actually fed up with humans. They had some issue with a gang of humans, and apparently they roughed up Beast, and Beast didn't fight back because he knows he could beat them up.
Yeah, they bust in the room looking like Penn and Teller, by the way.
Yeah, and he's just like yelling at Scott, I'm done with this. I'm done with humans. I'm done with being an X-Man, and I'm just looking out for myself now. And then Scott's following him like, dude, come on, let's talk about this. And in the hallway, they see old Beast, all blue and furry, and he's like, we need to talk. I need to lie to you guys some.
Yeah, here I am.
In all my blue furriness.
And this is the coolest picture that has, like, this is the coolest panel of Beast ever.
And
he's got, like, the ammo belt and the walkie-talkie and the goggles down.
There's no ammo in that belt.
Yeah, there is.
It's probably all vials.
It's just chapstick.
Yeah.
It's just chapstick.
He repurposed that from Cable.
He is definitely dressed the part of an apocalyptic future, and so if he's saying that, like, we have to stop an apocalypse, and he looks like he's come from...
Yeah, he looks like he came from Cable's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, what if he did that on purpose?
I think he did.
Like, he didn't dress like that at all, but he just threw all that on because he's like, I need to convince him.
Which is funny because you say, like, oh, it's the future, but he's got to get the shit that they wore 10 years ago.
He doesn't dress like this. Yeah. He's a fucking scientist.
Yeah, I know.
If he came in his regular clothes, it'd be a lab coat.
Yeah. So he's telling them that, like, look, you need to come with me because you have to stop Scott from doing something terrible. And they keep trying to well, actually, no, sorry. I'm actually foreshadowing to the next issue. He basically goes that, like, you got to come with me to stop Scott from committing genocide, and that's where the issue ends.
Total shit.
Yeah, he never committed genocide. He's bringing back a race.
He did the opposite.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what genocide he's talking about. Like, is he guessing that Cyclops is going to start so much shit that people are going to kill mutants?
Yeah, that's exactly
they've
it.
Always been trying to kill mutants.
Yeah,
so.
that, like, he's either Scott's going to completely lose it and he's going to start killing humans, and that'll be in and of itself a genocide, or he's going to lose his shit, start killing humans, and then humans are going to kill mutants, and that's going to be the genocide, or that Scott's just going to scare humans so much that they just go straight to killing mutants, which also they already fucking are all the time.
No matter what his reasoning is, there's a way better solution. If you're going to go back in time and try to change something, go back to 2006 and snap the witch's head, fucking neck off.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, dude, like,
it's a really good point.
You have the person who committed genocide. It's well known. You were there and saw her kill almost every mutant. Go kill her.
But to Beast's credit, he's not trying to change the past. He's trying to change the present. So the idea is, I bring the young X-Men to the future. They change Scott's mind. He just sees them, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so wrong. I have to stop everything." Yeah. And then they go back. Xavier erased their mind. History continues as it's supposed to, and up to this point. Like, he's still trying to keep the time-space continuum intact, even though he's really fucked it up.
Job.
But he did say, though, best-case scenario, Scott's going to go back and never go down that road. Worst-case scenario, the current Cyclops is not going to be an ass anymore.
Yeah, but also, Scott can't go back and then never go down that road if he gets his mind erased.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
'Cause he did say that, but then he also said, Professor Xavier would just wipe your mind.
Yeah, he just said somehow. Like, hopefully, like, intuitively you would know that don't be an asshole later.
Yeah. I mean, even though that's kind of what they ended up doing. But, like, they don't have Jean at this
point.
They
did it with, like, Jean using super, like, telekinetic power. She, like, basically gave them mind mail.
Yeah, it was basically like a little capsule that melted at a certain point that released all your memories.
So, like, they already, like, there was nothing for Xavier to really erase. And so, yeah, it just popped in their head like a time bomb, kind of.
Yeah, but can we go back to this kitty from issue 2? This is the kitty I really liked, the Shadow Cat.
Yeah, no, I liked Shadow Cat during this time.
Yeah, in comparison to who, though? In comparison to Kate?
No, in comparison to Gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sprite. She's better than
Sprite was alright.
But like this, like,
during this era, I liked Kitty Pryde.
Early 20s, like, but they like aged her up. I mean, not that I have a problem with her now. I just prefer this version of Kitty.
But for a second, I thought you meant like let's go back to a panel of issue 1.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Okay, so issue 2 starts with Kitty and Bobby. They learn something wrong with something's. Oh my god.
Something dog style.
They learned that something is wrong with Beast. Because they're trying to, like, get in his room, and so Shadowcat eventually just goes into it, phasing through the door, breaking it.
She's knocking on the door going, Beast, are you there, Beast? Because, like, I'm going to have to come in, and you're going to get really mad at me if I phase through the door and break it.
Yeah. Which she does anyway.
Well, yeah, she waited a while.
She did. All right, so there's a thing, and it's like, it just bugged my ears, just thinking about how it would sound, which is, I know, it's weird, because I'm reading it, but it bugged my ears. When she's like, what if this whole time he's just going potty? But
it's potty?
Thinking, yeah, her saying potty. I don't know. Something about that just bugged me. So they go in and they realize, okay, something's up and something's wrong with Beast, but they still don't understand what. Because even she's like, yeah, I'm a genius, but I don't understand what any of this stuff is going on. Like, because Beast is just that much smarter, apparently.
Yeah, and Iceman's saying, like, why does he have, like, these schematics of bones? She says, I don't know. This is all so high-tech, it might as well be in Mongolian. And I'm, not exactly... And he's like, go ahead, say it. Like, I'm a genius, too, and I don't know what he's up to. And he's like, why do geniuses always have to tell everybody that they're geniuses?
Yeah, it was weird, because he told her to say it.
Yeah, but they never really lean that much into her being a genius.
Yeah,
it's just brought up every once in a while.
Because she is in like she's like an average
genius.
sense. Yeah, well, like in the sense of like any normal person being really smart, but then like they have so many characters in the Marvel universe that are above that level.
Yeah,
that the bar, like, there really is like two different scales of what a genius is considered.
Anytime I see her being a genius, it just comes into she's sitting in front of a computer and has to type really fast.
Yeah, it's like she understands like Excel without ever having to take a course on it or something.
She doesn't have like a specialty. Like all the geniuses have specialty. Like obviously Tony Stark is robotics.
She used the entire Microsoft Outlook program without ever having to read a tutorial.
She knows all of Adobe. She's really good in After Effects.
Yeah, she just knows it.
Yeah.
It's intuitive to her.
Yeah, she's like Forge, but with like more useless stuff.
Yeah. She knows QuickBooks.
Yeah, she can make a hell of a spreadsheet.
She would kill any resume. Basically.
Yeah, she can type it up real fast at least.
So Beast is still trying to convince the young X-Men to leave their time because they're pretty much like, hey, blue guy, fuck off. No, we don't trust you. We want to get Xavier. And he's like, don't get Xavier. He won't understand. And if you get Xavier, he's just going to end all this. And I really need you guys to come with me because this is more important. You just have to trust that I know better than Xavier right now, even though we all agree Xavier is better than all of us. Which also, no, he's such a creep.
Yeah, well,
especially during this time.
Also,
it's during this time he wants to bang the redheaded girl right there who's a minor.
Yeah. But when Beast brings them to the present, they call him on his bullshit right away. They're like, this is not, like, you said this was an apocalypse. Like, it looks pretty nice here.
We looked at your outfit.
Yeah. This looks like heaven. This
Yeah.
also was a big romanticization. That was hard to say.
Romanticization.
We all fuck up
Romanticizing.
some words.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
We all fuck up a lot of words.
It was romanticizing Xavier, yeah. I mean, because they made him sound like he was damn Jesus and did no wrong.
Yeah. And the last, like, 10 years of his life at this point were, like, none of the mutants ever really wanted to talk to him because he was constantly fucking up.
I'm going to go on record, by the way, and say that Caldinian would be like a great Star Wars race.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah.
Okay. It's also a name that George Lucas would pick.
So, but the whole time he's talking to the young X-Men, Beast is just trying to figure out, like, what could be so bad that I would do this, because I would never do this. Like, that's what he's so puzzled about. Not, like, him, because he tells them, like, because Angel's like, why don't you just go to Xavier in your time? And he's like, I can't go to Xavier. And he's like, and they kept pressuring him for an answer. And at one point, he's like, Jean, just read my mind, and you'll see that I'm telling the truth. And she's like, I can't read minds. He's like, oh, shit, yeah, I forgot. You can't read minds yet. And she's like, wait, I can read minds later? And he's like, I can't go to Xavier because Scott's already killed Xavier. And he says it in a way of just like, Scott has this list of people to kill, and he already got to Xavier.
Yeah, it was kind of bullshit because he puts all the blame on Scott.
Yeah, it was
it's not the Phoenix, it was Scott.
I love how it's just, like, the dramatization, though, the panels, the way Stuart...
Eminem. Stuart Little.
But the way that he drew this is all fucking fantastic. And so, like, when they say that Scott killed Xavier and there's that, like, splash of red right behind the X-Men, like, as if it's like, dun-dun. It's like...
Yeah, he did a good job with how he set it all up. Kind of like John Cassidy did for Astonishing X-Men. It's like you're watching a movie. Just all the shots are just done so well.
Yeah.
What I like what he does, too, is a lot of times in panels, like, characters in the background are just there in the background. But, like, while Bobby is, like, fighting with Cyclops in one of these panels, like, Jean's, like, off to the side, like, like, why are they fighting again? Like,
yeah.
Characters in the background are still expressive, but not, like, over-expressive, like when Xavier saw one of the cuckoos that died.
Yeah.
And he was like,
yeah.
But also, speaking of this panel, I have to point out that anytime they say Bobby, like, I read it in Hank Hill's voice because Bobby's like, seriously? Like, him? He kills him? And he's like, stop it, Bobby.
Yeah, but because that's basically what's going on is Scott is just, like, kind of outraged that he's being accused of killing Xavier, which at this point, like, he can't possibly imagine something like that happening. And then Hank's just like, which is funny because Hank Hill and
Hank and Bobby.
Yeah, Hank is just like, intriguing. This is fascinating. I'm here, but I wouldn't want to be here. But apparently I am, so it's got to be pretty bad.
If I had to come back into the past,
yeah,
I would only have a fantastic reason because I'm so great.
Yeah,
I don't make mistakes.
And Bobby is just like, this guy, this boring ass bitch. Like, he can't possibly. He kills Xavier?
See, this is some bullshit because Cyclops like, I would never do that. And old Cyclops is the same way. He just had the fucking Phoenix Force. It's not like it was normal Cyclops in his right mind who killed Xavier.
Yeah.
Also, do you see how nervous all of them get except for Bobby when they find out she's a telepath? Like Hank's like, she's a television.
We've all thought about fucking her.
The only thing that any of us have thought about since we started this team is how much we wanted to bang her.
Oh, we've just been thinking about her boobs the entire time.
Yeah.
And Bobby's just been like, man, she's got some killer boots.
Yeah.
I want boots like those.
He does have boots like those.
Yeah, but like hers are shinier, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he can wait until he, like, from when he turns from Snowman to Iceman, and he gets shinier.
So, they are convinced ultimately that it is Beast and it must be bad, so they decide to go with him. Like, he leaves, and he starts to feel like the strain of his mutation progressing. But they show up in uniform now, and they're like, all right, we're going to go. And Scott says to him, like, if this is a trap, I blow your head off. And he's like, yeah, I get that.
I like how expressive they draw Scott when he's, like, finds out he kills Xavier, because it reminds me of how Zach Brannigan acts. He's like, how could you say that to me?
Yeah.
Like, he's got his hand up, like...
There's
like
one moment too where he's like, how can you come in here and tell me that, like, what am I supposed to do with this? You just show up and you say this to me that I do that. Like, what do I
It's like a mob boss. You come to my house.
what do I do with that?
Insult my family.
Like, such a disgusting thing. But then he turns around to the younger Beast, and Beast's like, hey, don't look at me. I didn't come back in time. Like, you just did, though.
You bring your hairy ass into my house?
So they go to the future, and they see the Jean Grey school, and they're like, oh my god, this is Xavier's? This is amazing.
Yeah. Maybe not tell her the name of the school right away. So she
Maybe
knows
not
she's-
do almost any of the shit Beast does to Jean.
I also like the noise he makes when he hunches over in pain is her.
But also, all right, so right when they come to the future, Wolverine's teaching a class about what do you do when you face a ninja master. Well, you got to know that there's so many ninjas around you because, of course, a ninja master won't be, like, right in front of you unless he's the bait. Like, this is what he's going on about. Which also,
Yeah.
students.
But none of the...
You don't know ninjas are going to trick you?
Yeah, Glob already knows that.
Like, if anything, this is, like, probably the one point Wolverine has in all these books is that his students are dumb if they don't understand how ninjas work.
It's like Ninjas 101, though.
Yeah. But they're like veteran X-Men, kind of, these students.
God and Choir.
Yeah.
He tries to kill instantly.
I
An
know.
Obviously younger version of
Yes, that's
Cyclops.
exactly. So he smells Scott, presumably, because he should be the only one who wants to kill right away. And he just rushes out. But the space in which he has to run from that classroom to where they're standing out on the lawn of the school, he has to obviously see who the fuck he's running at.
Yeah, the redhead and obviously like two versions of the same guy.
And so, yeah, he dives at them, and immediately Jean freezes him in the air, and Scott blasts him away. And Bobby's nice. He breaks his fall with an ice barrier.
Actually, I love that 'cause he made him a slide.
Yeah.
He's like, wee!
I like that he got whooped real fast, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took care of his ass.
Because sometimes they do make him overpowered as if people can't stop him, but then you got times like this. Gene normally puts him in his place, so I like that.
Yeah. And then Wolverine realizes, like, after the fact, and everyone's like, what's going on? And Iceman's like, hey, that was ice power, but not my ice power. But what? It is my ice power.
They look right at each other at the same time, and it's like quiet, and then ah!
Starts screaming.
Which older Iceman makes sense, but younger Iceman, like, yeah, you should have known you'd see yourself.
You knew where you were coming.
Yeah.
Hey, Jean should be more shocked. She's dead right now.
Exactly. Everyone should be expecting to see their future version.
It was your idea, Bobby. That one's coming from Hank.
So
Which was so stupid. It's like, you're actually the one who did it.
Yeah.
Bobby was just talking out of his ass.
yeah, exactly. And that's so Wolverine's team are all like, what the fuck is going on? What did you do, Beast? And he's like, actually, it was Iceman's idea. And he's like, whoa, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
puts it right on him. Obviously, the guy who's like, they portray as not being smart enough to have come up with that idea.
Yeah.
They made it seem like he inception Beast with it. It's like, if
But-
only we could just get them from the past.
Right.
But before Beast could start explaining it, because of course he's about to go into a diatribe of how brilliant it was and how he got the idea, he gets a heart attack.
He's faking it.
The heart attack?
Yeah, he's pulling a Pierce from Community. He's like,
Yeah, so he has a heart attack and he's taken to like the infirmary inside of the school.
Yeah, right before he has to explain himself.
but they all blame Bobby right away. Kitty's like, Bobby, what did you do?
Yeah. I guess in fairness, they don't have context of like Bobby just said a thing offhand, and Beast just ran with it, because when Beast would have explained that, he had a heart attack.
Yeah, so that's just Bobby's fault.
Yeah. So for all Kitty knows, they went and had like a secret conversation where like, hey, here's the plan.
The Illuminati, X-Men Illuminati.
Yeah. So the young X-Men, Wolverine takes them out into like the living room, and
He
he's
calls
like,
them the little X-Men.
yeah. And he's like, you guys are going back right away. This is bullshit. This shouldn't have happened.
Sleep.
Yeah, basically. And he's like, you should know better than that, Jean, that won't work on me. Which, by the way, why would she?
Yeah.
Why would she know better
She
than that?
doesn't know you, bro.
Yeah.
But then thump right on the ground.
And she talks about like, yeah, I read his mind. It's crazy. I really do have I said almost a telekinetic. Yeah, telepathic powers.
It's like I could read his brain.
Yeah. She talks about how like he was gonna say that like we had to go back to our own time, but really he's really proud of Beast for having done this, which is, you know, conflicting. And also he has a lot of really disgusting thoughts because of course he does.
Yeah, he's a pervert.
He's a perfect.
He's like, I was already in love with Jean, but now she's a young girl. It's everything I've been wanting.
Right, he's about to mentor her.
Yeah.
Oh, which is so funny because Scott actually says that later in a way that makes him almost sound like Wolverine. Given the context, it makes sense because he means like when he was a boy, but like he is a man.
Yeah, it's
And
well,
like
because to him
thinks
though,
that exact thought.
to him it's the idyllic, like that's when he fell in love with her. And
Yeah.
it's like seeing her for the first time again. But like Wolverine,
It's like,
he was
this is
excited.
better than before.
Yeah.
I wonder if she likes dolls. That's a callback to Heidi.
Yeah, but it's so fucked up when you say it like that.
This is so later you could show him where I touched you.
So, I think we said that before too.
Yeah.
So, the young X-Men, they're talking about like Scott's is like, I can't believe I do this. Like I kill because she asked, were you able to read his mind? Are they telling the truth about me and Xavier? And she's like, yeah, they are. And he's like, I can't believe I do this. And she's like, you can't believe this. I can't believe I'm dead and I like date a terrorist. Which is weird because like no one said that she dated Scott yet.
I think they're dating currently.
So they just gleam it? No.
Wolverine's mind.
No, they weren't dating. When Beast goes back in time, he's writing the letter to Jean that says that like he loves her and stuff. So like he hasn't told her yet. So they're not dating younger.
She read Wolverine's mind though. She would have known everything.
That's
he
fair.
knew.
Yeah, fair. But like she's not. When she was alive, Scott wasn't a terrorist. And he still isn't, but like he's perceived to be now, and she's already dead. So like she said it backwards in a way that was like, wait, that implies that Scott's dating a corpse?
Yeah, and well, it's also either that or it implies that like she knows they're gonna date in the future, so she's like, I guess we're dating now.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of little jabs like that happen in this series too. Of just like, I don't like that everyone's telling us that we're going to be together before we've even decided we're going to be together.
Also, Wolverine's just chilling their ass up on the ground.
Like, he's just waiting for it.
Which actually,
They draw him ass up.
oh yeah, still. When
on
she
the
put him to
ground.
sleep, he hit his face and just left the booty out.
Yeah. But they see on the news that a new mutant had popped up, and they're like, all right, well, that's what we do. We're going to go see that.
If I was me, I would go there.
Yeah.
So we should go there because I will be there.
Yeah, because they decide that they're going to start making decisions for themselves, and Scott wants to see himself. And so they...
I mean, it's been a half hour, so it's not like people have been bossing you around the whole time. You're just like, fuck, I'm going to start being me and do what I want to do.
This was our house first.
It's like, you just got here. Nobody's told you. They told you to get out of a room.
Yeah.
That's all that happened.
Yeah,
Well, Wolverine's never sending you back.
but they get into a Blackbird and they just take it.
Steal it.
Well, it's theirs, isn't it?
No, that one's blown up a long time ago.
Yeah, it's like 15 times. At the very least, Kitty destroyed it.
Yeah.
In our Christmas episode. Go listen to our Christmas episode to learn how Kitty destroys the X-Wing.
She starts it without leaving. Like the hangar.
She doesn't open it.
So it just
all right, I
runs
guess
into a
don't
wall.
go listen to our episode.
Spoilers of a past episode.
So that's the end of 2. 3 actually takes us back in time 10 days, and it's the perspective of Scott's X-Men team. And you see that, because if you remember from Consequences, it's only Magic, Scott, and Magneto, and that they need to go get Emma. So, like, that's where it ends. And so this actually picks up from that point. They go to a facility that they tell Magic, because she's like, where are we? And it's the Weapon X facility. And it's like, this is the first place that humans started torturing mutants. And this is going to be the new Xavier School, because we're going to take this and we're going to redefine what it is. It's going to be the base for the mutant revolution.
It was the last place to look for them.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
good place to hide out.
Plus, it's also the last place that Wolverine would want to go back to.
Yeah. And
Even though he does it a lot. But.
Yeah. So really, he should have known better than to go there. It's like, it's crazy. Wolverine takes like so many trips here.
Yeah, he's just going to check it out on a whim, not even looking for him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my past is hazy again. I should go see the Thing in Canada. Scott?
Aunt Petunia?
Aunt Petunia.
He's a different character now.
We say he's going to go see the Thing in Canada.
No, he's only on Yancey Street.
He never travels over.
So, but I do like the idea that, like, this is arguably the first place in which mutants were persecuted by humans, by like, human governments.
Yeah, I mean, not even close, but yeah.
Right, but that's how it's framed, because Magneto even says this is the first place they tortured mutants, and that's going to be the base of the revolution against the human tyranny of mutants. So, after they decide that, then it goes to 2 days later, where they go to rescue Emma. She's in a caravan being transported to a different prison facility for some reason, because she was already in prison. So I don't know why they decided they needed to change where she was.
It's a more prison-y prison.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's got harder locks.
So they just pop up because, magic, literally.
Yeah.
And
You're not wrong.
Yeah, and the guy who just wanted to listen to Howard Stern while he drove realizes, like, oh no, Magneto and Cyclops, they're in front of us. What do we do? And they're like, you keep driving. Fucking run them over.
Dumb.
So they fly at him, and Cyclops is like he's not getting it up right.
Well, actually, what happens is Magneto can't, because
Yeah.
he's like, you got this, and Magneto's like,
He's
yeah,
like, I got it.
and he's like,
I don't got it.
yeah, he's like, never mind, I don't know what's wrong. Which is weird that, like, this is the moment they realize their powers are whacked.
They never tried it before.
Yeah.
But they showed him try it. I guess it just took a while.
Well, because they used their powers.
Yeah.
And consequences.
Yeah.
Well, and in the first issue of this.
Well, technically, that's
The future, right?
the future. This is 8 days before.
So that was the days of future past. You're just going to let me sit in this.
So they realize, like, Magneto can't really help. The best he could do is he kind of lifts one of the cars to sort of shield the bullet fire coming from the helicopter. And so Scott goes to shoot, but then it, like, explodes out of his visor. So actually it does way more damage than he intended. So he probably killed some people.
To be fair to him, he hasn't seen Emma in a long time. So the second he does,
Yeah.
poof.
Yeah. Sorry, he just exploded.
Yeah, so they realize their powers are just broken for some reason. And they think that the humans have, like, some weird power dampening thing that's fucking with them. And, like, they don't know what's going on. They're like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Like, Magneto's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, why'd you do that? How'd that happen? And he's like, where the fuck are my glasses? I can't find my glasses. Like, his visor's gone. He's trying to, like, hold his eyes in.
I like it. Instead of Vilma, though, I like the idea that it's, like, more like the Johnny Bravo scene. Where he's, like, his glasses fall off. He's like, I can't be seen without my glasses.
So he gets his visor back on, and he's putting it on. And there's just a lot of yelling, like, what the fuck is going on? One guy's like, I got a family. Magneto's like, who the fuck doesn't?
The whole time during this scene, Cyclops is just singing Shaggy. It's just every line.
Dude, I was thinking that exact thing.
She's like, it wasn't you that murdered Charles Xavier. It wasn't me.
I know. I was thinking the exact thing. He's just Shaggy now. Which is funny because we have a 4D reference before, too.
It's funny they keep saying the same shit. Like, what's wrong with you? Because
Yeah.
Scott's telling him to open the door. He's like, "Can you open it?" He's like, "I don't know. Be silent." Scott, "What's wrong with you?"
What is your problem?
It's already established your powers are fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Check back earlier in the book. It's there.
So he's like, "All right, Magneto, you're up again. Open the door to let Emma out." And he's like, "I'm trying." And he's like, "Fucking do it better. What's wrong with you now?" And he's like, "Man, can I just..." And they open it, and Emma is out, and she's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you guys? Like, why'd you do all this the way you did it?" And they're like, "Well, we thought it was the least we can do, all things considered. We could get you out of prison." And she's like, "What? This is the least you can do? Maybe not do all the bad things you had done." Which is a bit disingenuous considering, like, she was becoming a homicidal maniac with the Phoenix Force. And also we know that she gave him...
your eyebrows when you set out homicidal maniac.
Well, because, you know, homicidal maniac.
I feel like this is disregarding the Uncanny Run. This is only if you read AVX. Kind of.
Basically, yeah.
Also-
Because she straight up gives him permission and, like, hey, I'm losing control. You should probably take this over. And I'd rather be the Queen of Ashes than, no queen at all. So,
But yeah, this is saying, like, you stole it from me. It's like, what?
yeah. She's having selective memory.
Apparently.
And
Or
so
the
is Scott
Raven.
with the whole, "It wasn't me."
You were the one who killed Xavier.
It wasn't me. That could be our second single. Stabby, stabby, and then "It wasn't me who killed Xavier." So then, also, Benjamin is introduced. So this actually kind of explains why he's on the news in the previous issue, since it takes place prior. And Benjamin is a mutant who shapeshifts, sort of. Like, he becomes a lot like the person he's next to, but not like a full-on copy, and it just
Yeah.
sort of happens passively.
He's more like the Ditto from the Pokemon cartoon rather than Mystique.
Or
where,
a movie.
Like, is Ditto in the movie?
Yeah, the live action. Remember?
Oh,
It's the
yeah,
it's the secretary.
Keeps, like, still, like, its facial features, but changes into, like, whatever it's
Yeah.
trying to become.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the Pokemon movie, not that they sponsor us or anything,
Yeah. But if you're the Pokemon movie and you want to sponsor us,
watch it and watch for the secretary when she takes her glasses off, or like the bodyguard or whatever she was.
yeah,
It was so great. It was just Ditto eyes. So he's introduced as that, like, he can
He's
sort
an
of
emo
morph
teen.
Yeah,
into you.
it's to make him, like, or the person he's speaking with, like, feel more comfortable. It's supposed
Yeah.
to,
And he's at, well, I don't know if he's in college or if he's in high school. He's
Yeah,
at a school.
mimic.
It's college
Okay, yeah.
because they like fully like kick him out and like it's a campus. It's like a full on
Oh, yeah,
campus.
yeah. Because he gets their voice, too, not just their looks.
Yeah. Later, they expand on his powers that, like, what he does is he lulls people into a sense of security so that they're more comfortable around him, making him, like, sort of the best spy, kind of.
Do you notice that he dresses like Han Solo?
Yep. Like a schlubby, tall Han Solo.
Yeah. So
Like, honestly,
he dresses like Starbirds.
he does, but I was going to say he looks like if, the guy who played Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver,
Adam Driver. If Adam Driver dressed up like Han Solo.
like his dad.
Yeah, exactly. If he dressed in
Spoilers
his
if you
dad's
haven't
clothes.
seen the Star Wars movie that came out 6 years ago.
Adam Driver's Han Solo's kid.
Yeah. Also,
Kylo
he
Ren.
kills Han Solo
Whoa.
twice. No, he doesn't do it the second time.
Oh no, he throws the lightsaber away the second time.
Yeah.
But like it's the exact same scene, basically.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, spoilers. So what happens is, like, they're having like a pro mutant rally at his school, and then he starts shifting into his friend who he's talking to, and she's like, "You're making fun of me. Stop doing that voice." She looks at him, and like his hair is completely different, and he looks like he's wearing makeup, and she's like, "What the fuck's going on?" He's like, "What are you talking about? Oh my god, what the fuck's going on? What are you doing to me?" Now he thinks like a practical joke that like the crowd's pulling on him. Like how? Like how? You morphed into a thing.
I like the idea though that like he's really bad at doing it.
He also looks like B. Arthur.
He does, but her like I just picture in my head her going like, "Stop doing that voice." He's like, "Stop doing that voice."
Can you imagine B. Arthur just mocking you? Copying
can.
everything you were saying? So, Scott's struggling with his powers, though, because, like, so he's sitting on a hill, being a sad boy, because he does that from time to time. It is one of the somewhat disappointing things about Scott.
If you're in the X-Men universe, you're a sad boy every once in a while.
Every
Well,
once in a
you
while,
don't-
you
if
sit on a hill and you pine a bit.
Yeah, if you're any comic book character, some of my favorite characters are sad boys. Cyclops, Daredevil, Spider-Man, all sad boys.
He's like yelling no into the sky. It's like those are the two things he yells: no and jeans.
No!
Yeah, pretty much. And Magneto shows up. Scott, you're embarrassing yourself. Which is pretty much.
With your face explosions. How embarrassing.
But he does go on to say, like, because he just feels like he's starting all the way over again. Like, the ability to control his powers took so long, and it's just all gone. Which also, because I remember, I read that, and I was like, but you can't.
Yeah, you can't do it.
You still
at all.
can't control
It's
your powers.
the same way as when you were 15.
But, like, I guess in the way that if you were in a car that you couldn't stop, but you still knew how to drive, you could at least avoid things. It's inevitable that you'll crash into something if you're not paying attention, but now he's in a car that, like, the fucking windshield's completely blacked over, and, like, he has almost no control, because he keeps shooting his fucking visor off.
So it's basically the scene from Pineapple Express when he's trying to drive.
And
he's
his
got
foot stuck
through the
out.
window.
Yeah, basically.
Well, it's like he doesn't have a visor, basically. I took it as. Because it's like, I got to go back to the beginning. It's like when he didn't have a visor and couldn't control shit. 'Cause
Yeah.
now, even with the visor, he can't control it.
Oh, exactly. Well, because when he used his power, it shot the visor off, like, somehow.
Because it's going wild. It's like
Yeah.
not going straight.
That's why eventually, like, they changed it to the X. The X was supposed to be, like, a specific kind of visor that was helping focus the beam, at least.
Coincidentally in an
They
act.
just want
Exactly.
They
No,
just
no,
want-
exactly. But, I mean, that was their justification for it.
Right. It's like a bigger area. It's not
Yeah.
a straight line.
And some artists did it awesome, and some were just terrible. But there was this one guy who did like a 3D schematic of what it would look like in real life. It was really dope. It had, like, the two bottom ends of the X going over his eyes and the other ones coming just above. It was cool. I'll find it
like
one time and we'll share it on the
Yeah.
Facebook.
Maybe by the time this episode comes out,
Yeah.
but probably not.
Maybe, I don't know, sometime.
We'll see. Find out next.
On Mex. Men. So he's struggling, and Magneto's like, hey, stop being a bitch, maybe.
Yeah.
And actually Magneto's really fucking mad at him, because he's like, fucking, you're going to fix this, because you broke my power, because...
And he keeps telling him before this, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
He basically
Not
like,
cool.
yo, stop crying, because I'm going to bitch at you. Like,
yeah.
You're upset. I'm upset.
Because that's one of the things we're trying to figure out is, like, our powers are broken, and I think Emma's like, it must have been the Phoenix. And Magneto's like, but I never had the Phoenix. And they're like, yeah, plot hole. Scott hit you pretty hard when he had the Phoenix, though, right? Didn't he? Like, he gave it to you pretty hard, I think is what it says.
And Ilyada's like, I'm stronger. And they're like, that's weird.
Yeah, fuck you, miss. I have a perfect world now, or whatever. Like, everything's brighter for you. Meanwhile...
But
sucks for us.
how would Colossus's powers just fuck up? Him just, like, reverting from metal, like,
Yeah, it
changing
was
back from metal to person.
He looked like he had metallic vitiligo. He
does?
really, yeah, like it was splotchy.
yeah, but
Metallidigo. That sounds like a metal band.
Vitiligo.
there you go.
So Scott and Magneto arrive to speak to Benjamin
Yeah. They're
wait,
scoping out his Facebook.
because they're having
This is
another
actually-
like camping like thing, and like all the students are like, "Oh my god, it's so crazy that you're a mutant. That's so cool. It's so cool you're a mutant. You're gonna be famous. You're gonna be like an Avenger or whatever." He's like, "I don't even know what the fuck my power is. I don't know what I am. I might not even be a mutant. Maybe it's something else." And Scott and Magneto show up and like, "Hey, Mr. Mutant."
But Magneto, before here, was important because Magneto was shitting all over him, like blaming him
Yeah.
for killing Xavier and for doing all that shit, which made no sense because Magneto was like, yeah, I've been mad before, and I've done some dumb shit. That was all me.
Yeah,
Comparing
that is
just
an
being
important point.
mad to the Phoenix Force, like, those are two completely different things.
Yeah,
you
he's
just
never
rage
had the
out on
Phoenix
your own and started killing people.
Yeah.
This is a cosmic entity that took
He's
over.
he's basically trying to tell Scott, "Hey, stop saying it wasn't you. That song
Yeah,
stopped
it
being
keeps
popular in
stuck
like
in my
2002, and take responsibility for your actions."
Which he was taking responsibility.
He was, exactly. He got baited out of the prison by Miss Sinister, and then also by realizing he was right that they're going to keep targeting mutants.
And it was kind of like he wants to do more good stuff. It's not like I'm just breaking out and going
Yeah.
get some pizza and ice cream and drink some beer. He's like, no, I'm going to go help these mutants out.
Yeah. It's very nuanced. And then the young X-Men show up, and they're like, hey, guy, what are you doing over there? And he's like, oh, my God.
And the way they show up, too, is like Scott's like join us, we're starting the revolution. And the young Cyclops is like, oh, it's a revolution now?
Yeah.
Like, what's up, bro?
Because that is something that young Scott says when they first, when Beast first goes to the past, is like, hey, I gotta stop you from, like, you're trying to do some revolution or whatever. And he's like, revolution? I don't want a revolution. I want humans and mutants to be at peace with every fiber of my being. Like, how are you gonna tell me that that's not true? Yeah. Well, I mean, shit happens though. Like a whole
couple
life
islands
experience.
get blown up.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps trying to bang his
A
girlfriend.
few genocides of your own people.
They're putting a lot of negative connotation on the word revolution, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's helped out a lot of people before.
Well, it's also hurt a lot of people too. Everyone knows it's bloody, and that, like, because that's the weird thing. If life is good, then sure, a revolution is a bad thing. Because why would you want to ruin what you have just because a few people think that they should have it better?
Yeah, like World War I was started by a revolution.
Exactly, and it's like they didn't need one, but the X-Men and mutants in general are persecuted. They are, like, in a world where they are foreseen as a negative thing. And so revolution in that sense seems logical and like, hey, we need to rise above this thing and assert our, not necessarily dominance, but like that we have the right to exist. So I like the way that issue 4 opens. So I'm going to read the inner thoughts of
all of it.
Scott. Yeah, it goes on for a few pages, but it doesn't take that much time. My first thought, the one that really sticks, is that I've lost it. After all that I've been through, all the people that crawled inside my head, all the hard choices I've made, all the things I've done in the name of my mutant people, maybe I just lost control of myself. Maybe I don't know the difference between fantasy and reality anymore. When I think about all the mutants I know with telepathic or mind control powers, Mastermind, Mentello, Emma Frost, maybe Emma's been lying about not having her psychic powers anymore. Emma made it clear that she's pretty angry, even though I'm the one who should be angry. Maybe the White Queen has finally shown her true self. But if it was her, she wouldn't let me think this. Xavier? Maybe Xavier can't be killed. Maybe Xavier is inside my head right now. Maybe Xavier is right in front of me, and he's not allowing me to see him. He's only allowing me to see what he wants me to see. He wants me to see myself. He wants me to see who I was when he loved me, when I was everything he wanted me to be. He wants me to see the original X-Men. He wants me to see us when we were pure, when we didn't know any better, when we didn't know what the world really was. But I know in my heart that Xavier's dead. And I know, if I really think about it, I know no matter how angry Emma is, she would never do this. So I have to think about who would do this. Who would punish me this viciously? Then I think about shapeshifters, I think about Mystique. But there would have to be 5 shapeshifters, wouldn't there? And they would have to be fantastic. No, somehow this is real. I am looking right at myself. I am looking at the original X-Men, and they are looking right at me with such utter contempt. Damn it. I feel it in my bones. This is real. That is really Jean, and that is really me. And they are there trying to figure out why I'm standing next to Magneto. How could this be? Teenage me cannot possibly fathom a world where Cyclops, leader of the X-Men, is an ally to once mutant terrorist Magneto. Who did this? Who brought this nightmare? Oh my God, Jean. There she is.
Jean.
Alive, exactly how she looked when I first fell completely in love with her. So gorgeous, so... It's really her, and I like that this is the first word he actually says is just, Jean? Like, everything going on in his mind, and ultimately the only thing he can utter is Jean's name.
And the whole time he's doing his inner monologue.
She's hearing all of it. Yeah. She's being overwhelmed by what she's hearing.
She's having a straight mental orgasm, and she's like hearing all that shit.
And she actually is the fault of everything that ends up happening because she can't control, like, she's so outraged by everything she's hearing. and she's the one, like, she's just, like, tosses them. Like, because Magneto's like, what the fuck? Like, who did this? This is fucked up. And, yeah, she just uses her powers and pushes them over. And then he straight up breaks his neck, but not
dude,
really.
That looks so painful.
Like, she throws him and he falls headfirst on the ground. And, of course, it knocks his visor off. And immediately, he just starts blowing everything up with his powers.
Yeah, and his neck's broken, so his head's just spinning around.
He didn't close his eyes for some reason.
Yeah. So he's really...
he's dead.
Yeah, he's really conflicted by the sight of the young X-Men, and it gets overwhelmed by that, and then he's just trying to get up, and it looks like he's, like, just angry blowing stuff up, but in reality, probably is, like, trying to close his eyes, and so younger Scott's like, fucking stop. Like, so he's just seeing a guy, like, he's seeing himself attack an innocent public.
And Iceman's like, what happened to you, man? You used to be, lame. You used to not be a dick. Well, not like this kind of dick.
So, and Scott, younger Scott, tries to counter the optic blast with his own, and then gets overwhelmed with the power of it.
Magneto throws a fucking bike at
Dude,
Iceman.
so great. And even later, Iceman's like, he threw a bike at me.
It's like pedestrians do not have the right of way when it comes to Magneto.
I ride my bike where I want.
You don't
Damn
expect
it.
to be hit by a bicycle in the fucking sky. He was on an ice slide.
I want to ride my bicycle.
But wouldn't those powers not hurt each other, though? Because Scott and Havoc don't hurt each other with their powers, so Scott and Scott?
I don't know, because it's just whatever the writer wants, because sometimes they do show him hurting himself with his own powers.
Like if he shot his toe, would it hurt?
It shouldn't.
But
But he's also decapitated himself.
with his own powers?
Yeah, but the only reason that he can close his eyes and doesn't blow his eyelids off is because he's reabsorbing the energy blast.
So yeah, it shouldn't hurt. Should have just took that blast.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
What? Oh, Scott did take the blast. What are you talking about?
When
Well,
he
no,
was
they were shooting beam on
each
beam,
other.
and
Yeah,
then
beam
it
beam
overtook
action.
him.
Oh,
It
no,
just
I
depends on the writer whether or not he can, like, the blast actually hurt him or not.
I took it as younger Scott was just trying to counter where the other beam was going, and then it was just overwhelming because the other one, like, is just so much more powerful and out of control. But he didn't himself get hurt. He just got pushed back by the Force. Because
The Force?
yeah, well, because after the fact, because all that happens is when older Scott gets his bearings, like, oh my god, and he puts his visor back on, he's like, we need to get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
This is going south in a horrible way.
Abort.
You could, any other circumstance, like the original 5 X-Men would be no problem for these X-Men to, like, take on.
Would have been no problem for Magneto
like,
by himself. Shit.
But
it's jarring, yeah.
The shock of seeing them mixed with their powers being fucked up, like, just led them to a situation. This is the only scenario where they'd have to be like, fuck, get us out of here.
But I didn't even take it as like they couldn't handle the fight. I think, like, I just destroyed this school,
Yeah,
and like
get the fuck out.
This is not, and we just wanted to talk to Benjamin.
I'm not saying that they couldn't handle the fight. I'm saying this is the only scenario that they really could have created where the X-Men would have had to have, like, get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
but I mean, like, both teams did.
Yeah.
Like, they both were just like, we gotta go. This went south, and then the other team like, we gotta go because this is all fucked up. And Benjamin and his friend just like, what the fuck? Was that the X-Men just fighting over us? And she's like, did they fight over you? Is that what this is about? Well, actually, too, sorry, because I just realized what I was going to say is, like, because it shows a panel, like, after older Scott and Magneto decide to leave, it shows a panel of younger Scott, and he's just sitting there, like, unhurt. So he wasn't actually hurt by the beam.
When I brought that up, I was curious because it makes sense now that young Scott was trying to counter older Scott's.
Yeah.
I thought it was old Scott countering young Scott.
Oh, no.
So I was thinking he should know that he's not going to get hurt by that.
Yeah, no, older Scott, he was just trying to stand up. Like, he needed his visor and, like, probably was fucked up. Like, because it makes it seem like he can't just close his eyes now either. Like, because the Force is so powerful that... Because otherwise, yeah, just shut your eyes. But you see him constantly with his forearms. He's doing everything he can to, like, push the beam, like, keep it in.
True.
Just get back in my face.
Yeah, basically. So he's not intending to do that. And then we get like a cool little moment of Ava and Christopher kind of getting to know each other, sharing stories of why they're there and what happened to them. And she's all like, "Oh, all right, heel guy, nice to meet you. I'm glad I know you."
Yeah, you can kind of tell that they're gonna have some type of relationship where he's like the nervous one, and she kind of brings him out of his shell.
You know, you think that?
It doesn't happen. That's what happens in the scene.
I wish that they did a little more with the newer students that they pull into this Uncanny book. I mean, I'm glad that it's so heavily Cyclops focused, but also, you know, they're sort of there as background characters for most of this, unfortunately.
And they don't do much in the future either, which sucks.
Yeah.
I like this little dialogue after the older X-Men leave, Scott's team. Young Iceman's talking with Angel. It's like, he ran away? Magneto ran away? Angel's like, since when does he do that? Because they're not used to that shit. They're used to Magneto just...
Yeah. And actually, there's a moment, too, where Iceman says, like, who knew that in the future Scott would be a blank and Magneto would be a coward? And I'm trying to figure out what the blank word is, because it's only 4.
He'd be a fuck.
Yeah.
Be a cunt. Probably cunt.
Yeah. It's only 4. Because I thought bitch at first, like, because that's the one that just naturally fits, but it's only 4.
It's got to be shit, fuck, cunt.
Who knew he'd be a shit?
I think it's douche and it's not numbered, or it's not correctly. They can say douche, though, can't they?
Yeah, but it's too many.
Was cunt really being used, though, that much back then?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it a whole lot.
If you read some Garth Ennis.
Oh, okay.
So,
I hear it more often now, and then I don't even like using it. It still like is a word that's
It's probably dick.
It's fine.
Yeah,
maybe dick, but you know.
I feel like it's reserved for a certain type of person who like goes out of their way to fuck over another person.
A cunt?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's not always that scenario.
It's like an asshole when you don't want to use as many syllables.
Yeah.
You're tired. It's too long.
So
rated E for everyone.
I did, and I like. Frankly, I love how all these are paneled and set up. But that the last panel on that page is just
what
this.
I'm paneling.
is just that the last panel of that page of Christopher and Ava talking is like a close up of their faces as a blue light shines, and that the next one is like magic porting Scott and Magneto there. And then they're sort of arguing and talking about like what the fuck just happened and what was going on with, you know, that the younger mutants were there. And Emma tries to talk to Scott and he's like, fucking not now, and goes past her. And Magneto tells her like, yeah, it's Jean. Jean's back. Yep. Jean.
She's
for
not
real.
happy.
It's for real deal, Jean.
Like, no, it's Madeline.
And she's like, oh, great. That's the last thing I fucking needed now was also Jean Grey to be alive again.
I like how Magic was all about business, though. Like, did you guys get the new mutant? Even though she brought them back. So she knows.
Guess not.
You're our ride.
I'll take that as a no. You could have figured that out when you picked us up.
That's a really good point, actually.
Like that Bobby's just wearing shorts.
Which makes more sense why they didn't even answer her. Because they're like, figure it out.
And the young X-Men, too, they're like on a random sort of cliff, I guess, wherever they parked the Blackbird. And they're talking about, like, that's crazy. And Jean's unconscious from everything. She was, like, overwhelmed using the telekinesis and her telepathy during that. So they sort of, like, picked up her unconsciously when they ran. I said that wrong, because that made it sound like they were unconscious and picked her up. They picked her up while she was unconscious.
Like they weren't thinking about picking her up.
And so now they're, like, waiting for her to come to, and she comes to, like, reading their mind, and she's, like, being overwhelmed by their thoughts. And Scott's off in the distance, sort of sitting alone on a hill, again, looking out and
sad boying.
They have so much in common, Scott and Scott.
I know. Because it's so
now he's
so
a sad
cool.
boy on a sad cliff.
He is. It's so cool how he did it, though, because in this page, he panels it with, like, Scott's perspective of sitting, looking out into the distance, and then the story goes on in the page, and then there's the page of resolution right after that of, like, okay, well, we got to go back to the mansion, because Beast is like, I got to go make sure I don't die before we go back. And then
Get in the plane, Bobby.
and then it goes to older Scott, and he's on a hill in the exact same pose younger Scott was, in the exact same panel framing for the first half of the page as Emma approaches him, and they try to figure out who did it, and they both realize it was Beast.
Yeah, they realize it because they're, for like a while, they're like he's wondering of all these scenarios, like, is it like people who can shapeshift? Is it like people who are getting into my mind? And they're just like, well, who has the technology to like go get them? And like, Beast.
And
fucking
also doesn't
obvious
like
it's
you.
Beast. Yeah. They're like, who else could it fucking be? Beast. How are we just realizing this?
Yeah. But I just like, because it's the same person. So he actually has the same mannerisms of like his body movement and what he would do and how he would sad boy.
Well, because they try to act like he's so different, but I like that undertone that he's not.
Yeah, he's just the same guy.
Yeah.
And he literally is sitting in the same pose in both of those panels.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And the young X-Men, they return back to the the Jean Grey school, and Beast is like, I'm going to go save myself. Thank you very much, so fuck off.
Like trying to be heroic, but it's you, bro.
Yeah.
Like-
really, it's just really egotistical and like...
Only I can save me. Only me can save me, basically.
not even just only me can save me. The only thing important right now is saving me.
Yeah. And the only people who can do it is two me's.
Yeah. So and that's what happens.
It's Storm's team, though, not Wolverine's team.
It's because both of them are like me when he says who's in
Yeah,
charge.
in the next panel, they're literally arguing about that.
Yeah. Because she's like, go find them, and then they show up, and he's like, found them.
Here they are.
Good.
Which makes sense, though, because Storm should be in charge. That makes more sense than Wolverine.
Yeah, and she does become in charge.
He shouldn't be able to even, like, he shouldn't be able to babysit.
He shouldn't
let alone
be
be in charge of
allowed.
the school.
He's hardly qualified to talk about fighting ninjas, considering that he lets ninjas stab him.
Yeah.
Like, he fights poorly just because he can heal.
Yeah.
Even though he should know better. So, Jean links Beast's minds. Beast's minds.
Beast's minds.
That
Yeah.
reminded me of a fight between Wolverine and Black Panther that Black Panther whooped on that ass. So, like, your whole fighting style is based on you taking damage. You can't win.
Yeah. Well, and also he's covered in the only thing that, like, is stronger than adamantium.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's stronger than adamantium.
Yeah, they've stated it.
It's
Vibranium is stronger.
it's better, but I don't know about strong. I think no, it's a more durable metal. Adamantium is supposed to be the unbreakable metal. There's the difference.
It absorbs all shock.
Yeah, but it could be overwhelmed. Otherwise, Black Panther would win all the time, anytime, like every day.
Yeah, but we also learned from the Wolverine that you can just pull it apart if it's on the Silver Samurai.
They use shoddy craftsmanship. So, Jean shows up in Beast's mind because, telepathy. And Beast is like in his older state, where he was like first blue and furry.
First time he turned blue.
Just hanging out in the mansion all alone in his mind. And he's like, oh, Jean.
You know how he
Are you there?
put her in the skirt?
Yeah.
She's like,
And
what am I wearing? He's like, well, that's my favorite outfit of
Yeah.
yours.
And
Well, this is Jean. This is Beast being like creeping on Jean, kinda during this issue.
also want to point out, she talks about how much she hates that outfit. This is like a year removed from that. In 15 years, she's going to be wearing that outfit as a grown-ass woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think she's just jarred by it. Maybe she just hasn't reached that fashion sense or whatever. 'Cause she also made up the outfit.
Yeah, but it looks bad.
Sure. But so bad in a way that like you get used to it and it grows on you. And
Yeah.
like
Also,
I like it.
Who wants to be started? Who wants to be called their nickname in high school now?
I don't know. I didn't have a nickname in high school, so I didn't
Yeah,
really.
you did. They just didn't tell you.
Oh, yeah? What was it? Considering you didn't even
Fuck
go to my
boy.
high school.
He's a shit dick.
The originator of Fuckboy.
He was the first. It was Kyle. Everybody just called you Kyle.
I'm pretty sure you gotta fuck a bunch to be a fuckboy.
No, you gotta wanna fuck.
All right, so Scott gets Benjamin to join him, though, because he goes back to the school. Benjamin just got kicked out, and then he was a bit unfair to his friend, because he was like, you guys only like mutants when it's, like, cool and trendy, but like when stuff happens, you're just dicks.
I thought that was dope. I thought that was a good.
Sure, but like that was the establishment of the school. But he's talking to a friend who was just a friend to him.
Well, I think
Like she never did a thing that was a dick move.
I felt like it was insinuated that nobody said shit. Like everybody was like, "Yeah, go mutants," and then as soon as he's a mutant getting kicked out of the school, everyone was silent.
They were just holding mutant rallies, and as soon as a mutant's getting kicked out of school, they're like, "Nah, we're not going to hold another rally." We just did that.
But that he's directing it at his friend is what didn't make sense.
She kind of is the organizer of the rallies, and she's not organizing a rally.
Yeah, but she also didn't think it was fair that he got kicked out.
They didn't do anything about it.
Yeah,
well, we didn't get to see that there was that much time to do anything about it.
She's not even holding her clipboard anymore. I don't fucking trust
Where's
her.
the picket sign?
Yeah.
So he's like kind of storming out, and Scott's there, and he's like, "Hey, man, we didn't get to talk last time."
Wearing the traditional Marvel disguise.
Yep.
Which is glasses and a hat.
Well,
Granted, he's always got the glasses.
He needs the glasses.
But he put on a hat and a jacket.
Yeah. And he's like, I can't help but feel partly responsible for what happened. And he's like, oh, partly?
You blew up my school.
You could take all the responsibility. You have my permission, you dick. And then he realizes what his power is because he kind of like he goes to leave and then he's can't help but be intrigued about what's going on. And he goes to talk to Scott and Scott realizes like it's kind of weird. He just grabs his face like looking at it like, look at you morphing, but not all the way.
He's like, you're beautiful.
Beautiful to look at me. Although. That's funny because Beast is constantly complimenting his younger self, too. Like, now that I think about it, like, he's constantly calling himself handsome and whatnot.
He's like, I've been ugly for years.
So, Benjamin finally decides, like, he's like, all right, I guess I got nothing to lose. Which, I mean, it's actually a pretty shallow sales pitch on getting Benjamin to join him. And he's just like, all those years, your mom tells you never to drive with strangers or whatever. Like, then he goes with them.
The Cyclops is hiding a candy cane behind his back. He's like, yeah, just get rid of that.
And he's like, how do we go? It's like, you're with the X-Men, man. We don't, like, take a car or a plane or, like, we just...
I like how he's like...
Teleport.
Like, I have the internet. I know the stuff you've done. And he's like, oh, so you know how dedicated I am.
And he's like... That's a really good point. You are pretty dedicated.
You're like, fuck, yeah.
He didn't really have to like persuade this guy. He was just like, "I'll make you a deal," and then proceeded with like the worst deal ever.
He literally had nowhere to go because he says my school just kicked me out and my parents haven't been answering my phone call for like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just an hour. Like they could be busy. Their phones could be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they probably knew that. All right, first of all, nobody's phone is ever dead.
My phone is dead.
Yeah, but you're
sometimes.
Yeah, you're not an adult.
I am an adult.
He's like, yeah, so I guess I'm running away.
If you're an adult, your phone would be charged.
It just happens sometimes.
So this was the deal. He said, here's the deal. You can come with me. If you like it, you stay. If you don't, you leave. It's like, that's kind of the deal for everything in life. Like, what kind of a deal is that?
Also, I can put you in jail.
But also, later, they don't like it, and they don't leave. They don't like what happens. But yeah... But, you know, the whole, like, you can learn who you are, how to control your powers, how to use them, all that stuff. And that must be intriguing for anyone who's a new mutant freaked out.
An all-new mutant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a triple entendre in this book, because there are new mutants that are brand new, and then there are young mutants that are actually old, but because they're young and brought to the future, that's also new, and it's a new book.
But they're new in the past as well, so.
Yeah.
Like new.
Yeah.
New.
New, old, new.
Old, new?
I don't know.
So moving on.
Something like that. So, young Beast is a dick to Kitty for some reason. I know what it sounds like. I didn't mean it how it sounded like. I know what it sounded like. But he's an asshole to her. For no real reason. She's just trying to help. Because he's like, everyone get out of the room. And she's like, no, you're a child. They do say you're like 12 to him, like a little way too much.
Yeah.
In these issues. Like,
I mean, he's
maybe once, sure.
He's 3
but
years
like,
older than
they
that.
use that same... But he's a doctor, and he needs to like let you know he's a doctor all the time.
But wasn't
he's
it only
Dr.
Wolverine,
Hank
though?
McCoy.
Wasn't it only Wolverine saying that over and over again?
No. Shadowcat did it early on.
Oh, did she?
And then Wolverine.
Yeah, and at this point, she owns the
No,
branding name for...
No,
Because
she
doesn't she get it after...
No, she doesn't.
Or does she get it when Cyclops dies?
Cyclops dies.
Oh, I thought it automatically went to her when Xavier died because Cyclops was on
No,
like, a different
the
side.
last Will and Testament is going to be an arc that we're going to cover later. It's in Uncanny.
Alright.
It doesn't happen for a while.
Wasn't it sent to Scott and he doesn't accept it or some shit?
Well, I don't want to spoil it, I guess, but
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Oh,
something along those lines.
we already spoiled 3 Star Wars movies.
We're on a roll.
Vader's Luke's father.
What the?
4 Star Wars movies. Sorry if you haven't seen that for 40 years and we just ruined it for you.
So, but he's an asshole to her for some reason. And they never really explain why. Because he's like, I don't know what your relationship is with me in the future.
I think it's just he doesn't know her.
But I promise you, I have more invested in this than you.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but like, she's only trying to help, so it's like, it's weird to just be a dick. And she's just there to help.
I think it's just because they wouldn't let him do anything before. Like, he wanted to save his life at the beginning, and they're like, get the hell out of the room.
Well, Wolverine did, because he was like little X-Men because he's like, you don't understand our circulatory. And she's like, yeah, I do. You just got a bunch of fur, man, so stuff's got to be different and adjusted. So
Yeah, you're like, your spleen's not in a different area now.
now this is some bullshit Beast does. They're back in his mind. He's talking to Jean, and she's like, hey, I have to know what happens. I got to understand what's going on. And he's like, well, I'm an open book. You can read anything you want from me. And she's like, well, I don't really know how this works. And he's like, well, just clear your mind. And then it's a cool page. Like, the splash page is dope. But what that does, really, though, like, if your whole thing is to not fuck up the space-time continuum, and you're already fucking it up by having the younger selves see everything that's going on, how traumatized do you expect a character, like a person, to be if they suddenly see all the things that they are going to experience in their life, like, just flashes at them all at once?
And half of them are times you've died.
Yeah.
So it's like 5 times that she's died he's showing her.
And times you've killed.
Yeah.
In, like, a planet.
And her wedding. Like, just
Cable shit, like, just bad stuff, basically.
Yeah. Also
Only
showing
bad stuff.
Like, a lot of bad stuff.
showing her being worse than what they're portraying Scott to be.
Yeah.
Like, she's the Black Queen and then destroys a planet.
Yeah.
And then she still looks at Scott like, you're doing bad.
Yeah.
I committed genocide, but we're going to say you did.
Yeah. And then, because she gets out of that, and she's like, the one thing, like, because she, doing that, she then physically has, like, a telekinetic burst while they're in a room that's, like, a medical room. So she's fucking everything around them up. And so Younger Beast is like, get her out of here. Just take her to go calm down.
What's got to be really weird is, like, you just learned that a guy you're not dating yet you've cheated on, and it's not the weirdest thing you just learned.
Yeah. Yeah. To the guy you just said whose mind was disgusting and everything. And I think Beast in that moment, too, is just like, finally, Shadowcat's out of the room. I finally got her to get out.
I could save my life.
Yeah, you got an excuse. Why don't you take her out of the room?
They're going to have to rewash all those scalpels, though.
Yeah, and Jean was like, I felt myself die, but, like, also, didn't you feel yourself kill a bunch of people?
Yeah.
Well, that got retconned that it wasn't her. So.
But it was, though.
Yeah,
Like, it
got
wasn't-
re-retcon that it wasn't.
It wasn't her, but then, like, it was, because when she resurrected, like, it was that whole, like, oh, somehow she still had all the experiences and knowledge that the Phoenix had when it manifested as her. So it was, really, it's bullshit. She is the Phoenix. Like, Jean Grey and the Phoenix are one thing until she decides that they're not in Resurrection.
I don't know about all that. She got the memories, but she didn't do it. That's why they did that shit, to absolve her of that genocide.
Yeah, but, I mean, if you remember yourself doing it, doesn't it feel like you did it?
I mean, literally,
Yeah.
she feels like she's doing it right now.
Yeah. Well, she felt like she was dying right now. Because that was another thing, too, is like, how do I die? And he's like, which time?
Yeah, and he's like, you gotta, we could be doing this all day.
Yeah.
You gotta be specific.
So then, Wolverine, just trying to kill young Scott, just being an asshole, like, out in the lawn. He's just like, all right, the way I see it, I can kill you now.
Beast does save him. He injects himself in his arm before this, too, and, like, his hand's, like moving up.
Yeah. So, Wolverine's like, all right, fuck you, Scott. Like, he's kind of coming out of nowhere. It's just like, you piece of shit. All the, like, the way I see it, if you're dead now, then Xavier's there, standing right there, and like the only thing Scott has to say is standing.
Yeah. Also,
standing, and he's like, "Show of hands, who wants me to kill Cyclops right here,
Let's make
right
a
now?"
trade. Cyclops for Xavier. Who's down? All the girls are like, no.
well, and also for all they know, that if Wolverine kills Scott right now, the entire universe collapses in on itself. Which I don't know if you know this, is worse than trying to bring back mutants.
To be fair, the universe already does that.
A lot.
When it gets to Secret War,
It's already
there's
has
several
done that.
universes collapsing on themselves.
It did that in Grant Morrison's run. He had to rebuild the universe.
Yeah, but that was like way in the future, and that was a bullshit.
Yeah,
and
also
we don't talk
way
about
in the
that. Yeah. So yeah, he's just being an asshole trying to kill young Scott, and then Beast is like, "Hey, I'm better. Don't do that, Wolverine. And since I'm better, you guys can go home now."
Even though I don't know how to do that.
Feeling a new lease on life, I'll handle things from here. Even if you didn't talk to Scott, or if you did, I don't know. I was in a coma. You guys could just go.
Yeah, it's like no, I don't know, thought about those people. He's like, whatever, you're just like my little pawns, my little playthings. You can go back in the shelf now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they say it earlier in the book, like, the only reason he brought them there is because he knows he can't kill Scott, so he wants to punish him.
Yeah, basically. I mean, he's hiding that motive. He's making it seem like it's a grander
Yeah. It's
purpose
making it
than
seem
that.
like it's Bobby's idea.
Yeah, but he really is a piece of shit. And so Jean's like, "No, we're not going back." Knowing what we know, that like I'm dead and that Bobby and Scott kills Xavier, and Hank is this asshole willing to destroy the space and time continuum.
And
Like,
nobody gives a fuck what Warren wants.
exactly. He's been wanting to leave the entire time, and no one is talking about him right now.
Yeah.
Because Warren's not Warren. He's a completely different dude in Warren's body. And they don't even know how to bring it up. It's like they just like, forget that guy.
Well, they didn't have to bring it up. Just let him go home. And they're like, they say, like, the 5 of us stay or the 5 of us go. That's only because one guy wants to go home.
Yeah.
He has to stay in a different time. Like, you know how pissed off I'd be if we had to do this podcast in the past because you two wanted to do it?
Which is weird, though, because later it's Scott the one who wants to go home, who feels like he's out of place and doesn't want to be... Like, this kind of gets flipped later on.
Yeah. Well, Angel
When
ends up
writers
meeting himself.
And is freaked out.
Well, when he first sees himself, he's like, oh, it's dope.
No?
Yeah, in the next issue.
No, older Angel is. Yeah.
Well, when he first shows up, they just go for a fly real quick.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna cover it. And so yeah, Jean's like, we're not going, and Scott's like, all right, well, let's make a vote of it, and they all decide, except for Warren, to stay because if this is the world that they're gonna get from everything, like, then they have to stay and fix it here, otherwise it won't be worth it.
Hubris.
Because what's the point of anything?
Why do they think they can even do that?
Well, why do they think they could do it in the first place? They're trying to be heroes, right? So
Yeah, but they think they can do it better than their older, more experienced selves.
yeah,
Dumb.
Well, Jean could definitely do it better than herself now.
because herself now is dead.
Yeah.
See, this whole thing, Beast is like, oh, I need to show Scott his older self. So he does this fucking time travel shit. It's like, just show him a home movie. Really? You went through all this trouble.
Show him a whole movie. Yeah, that's a good point.
Or a picture.
So, yeah, they decide to stay, and then Scott goes to talk to Jean, and she's like, "Get the fuck out of my face, Scott!" And then walks
After
away.
finding out all the genocide that she does,
Yeah,
she's still judging him.
yeah,
Leave me
it
alone.
seemed a
And
bit
that's not even
rude.
him. That's not even the guy who did it.
Yeah, I mean that's the end of issue 5.
Yep.
I did like her being in charge, though. She starts to like lead and stuff. Which up until this point, she's never been leading anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But now we got enough of that, so.
But we got shirts
yeah, we got shirts
and stickers,
and mugs.
laptop cases and phone cases and
Tapestries.
so many things. There are tapestries. You can get a
Yeah.
pillow with our logo on it. You
Yeah.
can get a bunch of crap that we have on our TeePublic account. Get shirts, hoodies, long sleeve. We have them like a baseball shirt.
Yeah.
A kid's onesie.
I don't think we have that.
Oh, damn.
We have stickers that we don't make money off of. But go rep, you know?
Tank top.
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Everything is at Mex-Men Podcast. Share the podcast. Recommend it to friends.
Yeah.
Help us out a little bit.
Show your mother.
Yeah, she'll like it.
Yeah.
She's cool.
Yeah.
Show it to people. Also, if you can leave a rate and review on our iTunes, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Yes. It would.
So anyway, I'm Tony.
I'm Justin.
I'm Devin.
And that's for today.